Hey guys, it is Wednesday afternoon. We are going to get through some of Trooper Paul's direct testimonies again today. We probably will not make it to the end because I am going to my doctor's appointment. Thank you to Moni Sunshine, who is coming to pick me up and take me. She offered me a ride yesterday and has graciously given her time this afternoon to take me to the doctor's and to Myers so I can get a couple things, my Coca-Cola to drink because I am dying for some caffeine. But while I am getting ready, you guys, I figured we could get through some of Trooper Paul's direct and see how far we can get. So here we go.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
You want to make a vote?
Yes.
I'll also introduce the minutes next week.
No objection.
Trooper, directing your attention to the screen. What you have before you is that, what's up on the screen, excuse me, is that what you have before you now marked as 582?
Yes, it is.
And if you could, there should be a laser pointer on the desk somewhere before you start. If you could, using that laser pointer directs the jury's attention to sort of what we're looking at in this particular photograph of the road.
So this is Ferry Road, also facing northbound. 34 Fairview Road would be onto the left in this area.
Now, with regard to the roadway, when you went there, what if any observations or what if anything did you know about sort of roadway surface or markings on the roadway or the general overall condition of the roadway?
The roadway was, there's no significant difference, anything significant with the roadway.
Oh my God.
As far as the roadway material, were you able to observe whether or not it was sort of asphalt, concrete, or anything?
Right.
Yes,
Yes, it was an asphalt roadway.
So
And
nervous.
as far as the markings within the roadway, what if any observations did you make those?
There was double yellow center line, white fog lines both sides of the edge of the road. Is that what we're going after, the roadways?
And then as far as adjacent to the roadway or adjacent to the fog line, what if anything did you observe there?
So as you look at the picture, at the left
Hey,
side
Denise.
has asphalt curbings. These are
Hey,
about 5 inches
James.
tall, same on both
Thanks for
sides,
stopping
and there's a
by.
sidewalk along the right side of the roadway here.
Good luck at the
Side of
doctors.
asphalt
Thank
curbing,
you.
that's the same side as the
Will
roadway.
do. It's just
Okay, on that
it's just a follow-up appointment, so everything should be A-okay.
And again, sir, what's up on the screen? Is that what you have before you as 583?
Yes, it is.
And if you could, again, using the laser pointer, just briefly
I don't
direct the
know
jury's
why
attention
my
to what, if
stuff
anything, you
keeps
know, as far as
resetting.
from this perspective.
My background is missing.
this is
My
the southbound,
colors are missing.
34 Fairview would be on the right side here.
It's starting to
Ms.
irritate
Gilman,
me.
you can take that down. Now, Trooper, with regard to the roadway as far as Fairview Road, what, if anything, did you note in regard to postings regarding the speed limit on that particular roadway?
Yes, the posting for speed limit is 30 miles per hour. At this area, it's only posted 30 miles per hour for northbound operators, and I believe it was like 19 Fairview Road is posted in front of. For the southbound operators, it was not posted.
And so for a northbound operator, that would again be someone where the residents of 34 Fairview Road would be on the left-hand side of the road. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And
with
just
regard
so,
to the,
I don't forget, tonight, Virtual Juror and I are going to be getting into the psyche of Bukkake. We're going to have some fun with that. And then tomorrow night, Mary B and I are going to take a redo on my psych night lesson of projection. Tonight should be right around 8:30 with me and the virtual juror. And tomorrow, Mary B and I believe we're going to go around 10 o'clock. But so stay tuned. Hope to see you guys all there.
width of the lanes, or what, if any, measurements did you take in regard to the lanes or the roadway itself?
Yeah, each travel lane was approximately 12 feet, and the overall width was approximately 27 feet.
Now, as far as measurements being conducted with regard to the scene, what, if anything, did you use or employ to make those measurements, or what, if any, devices did?
Yes, I mapped the scene with it's called a Leica GNSS GPS total station, and also used a drone.
That's a UAS, is that correct?
Correct.
The drone, I mean?
Yes.
And with regard to each of those, as far as the GPS mapping and the drone, have you received any sort of specialized training in regard to employment of each of those tools?
Yes, I have been certified to use the Leica, and I've also have a Part 107 license for the drone.
Now, as far as starting with the Leica or the GPS, if you could explain to the jury sort of what that is and how you use that device in order to, as you
Tonight is Samantha's live.
Yes,
Oh
it's,
yeah, Wednesday
it's
night.
essentially what surveyors use to make
Well,
roadways. It
what
uses
time does Samantha do
satellites,
live? 10 o'clock,
GPS
right?
data,
Or she-
plus cell phone
she's
data
going earlier.
to.
I normally have to watch Samantha on replay anyway. That's why I always get excited when I can actually join her chat in a live. But tomorrow, that's awesome. I'll be so happy to see you, Denise. If you can share with anybody from the community over there that might want to join the chat tomorrow night, that'd be awesome. The more the merrier. Definitely going to have some fun taking on projection.
Make marks on the roadway, or actually not marks, but just mark points in the roadway that are within millimeters of the device.
And with regard to the drone device, sir, how does that? Can you explain to the jury sort of how that works and how that's used?
Yeah. So the drone, and we fly the drone around the area. We set it to set up a grid pattern to fly around the scene. And while it's flying this grid pattern, it takes a series of photographs, and these photographs are also GPS marked. So once we get all the photographs in, we throw into a program, and the program will essentially stitch it all together. And then once we get that picture, we throw it into a diagramming system.
And that diagramming system, have you also received training in regard to utilization of that diagramming system?
Yes, I have.
And the one that you're currently using within the car's unit, what is that diagramming system or software called?
It's IMS 360.
And Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
Sir, I'm showing you 4 documents.
So yeah, she's usually at 10. That's what I thought.
And do you recognize those, sir?
I do.
And what do you recognize those to be?
These are the
If
diagrams
you
that
can
we print out to
if you
the
would,
program.
if you can see it,
And the last one is the drone image, is that correct?
Link in the chat one time.
Yes, they're all drone images.
Super
The last
cool.
one is just a
Just 'cause
one that was
their
put
community
into my
is-
diagram.
I mean, she's got a lot more, psychological education and background than I do, and she does way more deep dives. I just get into the fun and pettiness of it. So if you think anyone, Denise, anyone from her, channel might enjoy tomorrow night in the chat, yeah, let them know. Me and Mary B, I mean, we've been watching this, the fucktards, as I call them, car crew, whatever you want to call them. You can call them whatever you want. Hood boogers, I don't care. But as I've said many, many times, they are the classic example of projection. When you look up projection in the dictionary, you will see JFK's face. Lynch got a wench. Lynch got a wrench. Yes, he did. I'll do my best. You're so sweet, Denise. If not, no worries. I mean, trust me. I want to build this channel, on my own. I don't want Baker did me the hugest favor by getting me over this 100. I want people here that want to be here and want to enjoy what I have to give. So I don't want a bunch of people to just come over and subscribe just because they can. So trust me when I tell you, just share it with people that might enjoy the content. We're going over Karen Reed first trial right now. We're getting into psych lessons, which are basic, not anything too deep. I am using examples in the true crime community in these psych lessons. Hence tomorrow night should be a really fun one. Raggedy Randy, that's another good name for him. I love you guys. I show my face. I have not yet, but I am going to. And I planned on doing it Sunday night during my psych night with Mary B. But that didn't work out because I couldn't even get ready, let alone get online. So my plan actually is to do it tomorrow. So, but don't spread the word on that just in case something comes up and I don't feel good enough to go on camera. I have, insecurities and it is what it is. But yes, I do plan on going on camera. Have I yet? No. Word of mouth is important. Yes, definitely. Thank you. But I also, the reason I say that is, it's not to shade on anybody who started a channel and had someone who had a channel with a big following and said, hey, go follow this person. And right away they got, 1,000 followers. Nothing against it. Hey, you get monetized pretty quickly that way. However, most of those people don't come back and watch you. And that's not what I want. I want my subs and viewers to be people who enjoy what I'm doing, want to come and interact in the chat. Even if they don't interact in the chat, at least enjoy what I'm doing and what they're watching. and, you know, may give me feedback from time to time, because I want this channel not to be only to be about, you know, what I want to do. I want to shape it into something that you guys want to, you know, want to see on a regular basis. Oh, I love you, Jeannie Lynn. You guys are amazing. Do you advertise using Facebook? No, I keep my Facebook completely private just because I literally barely ever use Facebook. I think I've signed into it now twice in the last year. But there are a lot of pictures of my son on there and stuff that I really need to save somewhere else so I can actually take them down. But I'll be honest, I have a Twit account, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. But I barely use that as well, just because I hate it. It's a cesspool of hate and disgustingness. But I do have one, which I use it to go over and download documents, read articles, things like that. And I have been thinking, with my Twit account is under my Miss Scarlet name, that I may start doing some interaction there. I'm just worried because I don't want to start a whole nother area for people to just be nasty and disgusting, which is why I haven't done it yet. Oh, we love you. Don't worry. Oh, you guys are so sweet. I love you guys all too. James, did you see what Jeannie Lynn said? Lynch got a wrench. I shared the stream in a free Karen Read group. Oh, you did? Thanks, James. You're the best. You guys are all the best. It's so hard. I can't just pick one of you because you guys literally are all amazing. I mean, literally, yesterday I say I may have to cancel my doctor's appointment. Like, no big deal. Just letting you guys know whether I'm going to stream long or short today. I didn't know because I didn't know if I get to go to the doctor's today. And all of you are like, hey, I'll give you a ride. I'll give you a ride, but you're all too far away. And then, of course, I have Moni Sunshine, who is like 20 minutes from me. It's like, do not cancel your appointment. I will take you. And not only is she taking me to the doctors, she's going to take me to Meijer's so I can take all the shitloads of cans I have back and actually get a few bucks and get some Coca-Colas, because I am in dire need of some Coca-Cola. I have been without Coca-Cola now for 2 days, and I am going crazy. But we are, if you know the story, we are on day 8. 6, 7, 8. We're on day 8. So, and I haven't received my money back yet. So tomorrow's day 9. Friday is day 10. So they said 7 to 10 business days to give me my money back. So we are crossing my fingers that for some reason, and this is the thing, I cannot express enough that I have the worst luck in the world. If I had no luck, if I didn't have bad luck, I would have no luck. So I would not be surprised if Friday came and went and I didn't see that money still. But we are going to hope and pray that for some reason the money shows up in my account by Friday, which is within their time limit. I use it to advertise Samantha to the public. I gotcha. Well, James did that for me. I appreciate you. And I mean, you guys can advertise anywhere you want for me. I just don't, I just hate creating another place for trolls and people to just be nasty. And because there's too many of those. They don't need another place to spread their disgustingness. Your mods will take care of you. Yes, they will. I have wonderful mods. I love you all. Oh, praying. Thank you. Do I have Venmo? No. There's a whole story behind that too. I do have PayPal, and right now I have Buy Me a Coffee, and I have money in Buy Me a Coffee, but it takes 10 days to get that money too, which won't be until Friday for the first people who donated. I do have PayPal, which is accessed instantly, but most people don't have PayPal. So if anyone right now has PayPal, oh, by the way, I do have a QR code, which didn't show up again today either. I don't know what the deal is with this thing. But I do have PayPal. That is the best way right now, only because it's instant for me. I get PayPal right away and then can turn around and use it for groceries and Uber rides, which seem to be right now the most important until I get that money back. And then Venmo and Cash App, I will not be getting. Cash App, we all know the story there, except for Denise. Long story short, I tried to open a Cash App, and before they even could identify, verify my identity, I had to take a picture of your license, blah, blah, blah. I entered my license, and they, within 30 seconds of doing that, they closed my account, said I violated terms of service. I'm like, well, how could I possibly fucking violate terms of service? I didn't even use it. It wasn't even opened yet. So I put in an appeal, and according to their customer service in the appeal, after denying my appeal too, said that they found, their AI algorithm found that I violated their gambling, lotto, something terms of service. And when I talked to their supposed customer service, I said, how can someone who never even had their account working violate your lotto/gambling terms of service? Not to mention, I don't gamble anyway. The last time I've been at a casino was like 8 years ago. And literally, I can't even afford to buy lottery tickets. So I don't even do that anymore. And I don't even have a single gambling app. So I have no idea what their issue is, but screw Cash App. Yeah, buy me a copy and PayPal. And PayPal is the one that's only the best right now because I literally have no money right now. But hopefully by the end of this week, they'll all be taken care of. And the wonderful, wonderful people who did send me money to buy me a copy, that some of it is going to be released on Friday. So everything's getting there. It's just during the time when you literally can't even buy a cup of a pop, literally a bottle of pop. It's an awful feeling. All because some a-hole took money that didn't belong to them. Anyway, sorry, I went on a rampage. Here we go.
I label it as a drone image.
Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
I'm also seeking to introduce the next four exhibits.
No objection.
Now,
It's
Trooper Paul,
not, Jimmy.
Are you
That's
familiar
weird.
with the
PayPal's
term,
weird
let me ask
like
this,
that.
in regard to the roadway itself? What, if anything else, beyond sort of lane width and overall width, what, if any, other measurements did you take there?
So we took measurements for the evidence.
Let me ask it this way: as far as with elevation and incline of the roadway,
I've
what, if
had
any, measurements did you
PayPal for
take
so
with that?
long that
Yeah, so we took the elevation and roadway measurements, or the elevation for the roadway.
And where, in relation to the residents of 34 Fairview, did you take that? Sort of the entire street, or just in the general area of that specific address?
In the general area of that specific address.
And from your measurements, as far as, well, let me ask you this: how is measurement regarded to elevation or incline? What kind of tool do you use for that?
We have a level, the digital level that we'll place on the roadway, and we'll get measurements from that.
Now, with regard to the measurements that you took of the elevation or the incline in the roadway, anything, or what, if anything, of significance did you find from that?
So this roadway had approximately plus or minus 1 to 2 degrees.
Hey, Jeannie, that's a pain in the ass. Like when banks do that kind of shit, drives me nuts. Oh, and I do have my Chime. If anyone does have Chime, you can literally send Chime to Chime very easily, kind of like PayPal to PayPal, Venmo to Venmo. And if anyone decides or thinks they might want to sign up for a Chime account, I just have to say I love my Chime account. I've had it for 5 years now, have had no issues. I've had 2 times where I had money taken by random who knows what. They got my money back within 48 hours, no overdraft fees. I mean, it's a wonderful, wonderful bank. If you don't need a brick and mortar bank, I definitely recommend it. If anyone, before you sign up for Chime though, if anybody wants to sign up for Chime, let me know, because they always have a deal going where if you refer someone, not only do the person who signs up for the account gets an extra $100 to $250, depending on what special they got going on. I have Google Pay that works. There you go. I use Apple Pay on my phone, but see, that's a problem too when you don't have service and you're banking on Wi-Fi. If you go to a store without Wi-Fi, you can't even use your Apple Pay. Like, it's so ridiculous. This is exactly why I had my phone as the only bill I auto paid. And of course, it being the only bill I auto paid, they were the ones that tried to take and got a bunch of money they weren't supposed to take, didn't deserve to take, shouldn't have been able to take, and weren't owed, but they took it anyway. So ridiculous. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm done with my rant. Thank you guys for being here. I so appreciate you. Let's get back into Trooper Paul.
So nothing significant, is that fair to say?
Nothing significant, yes.
Now, sir, through your training experience as a crash reconstructionist, are you familiar with the term related to crash reconstruction called roadway evidence?
Yes.
And can you explain to the jury sort of what your understanding of that term is and what types of things could be termed as roadway evidence?
Roadway evidence is anything that's related to the collision you're investigating at the time. It could be anything from vehicle debris, gouge marks, tire marks, anything that's related to a vehicle or whatever type of crash you are investigating.
It does, Jeannie?
Vehicle or pedestrians.
Huh.
So any sort of anything from either the vehicle or pedestrian as well, is that correct?
I wonder if somehow they changed that. I haven't tried it since the last time I didn't have service, like 2 years ago. I went to a local grocery store and tried to pay with my Apple Pay and it wouldn't load. Thankfully, they had Wi-Fi. I had to sign into Wi-Fi and then my Apple Pay worked, but it's like, what's the point?
Right.
So pieces from a vehicle, holding items from a pedestrian, correct?
Yes.
Now, with respect to both your review of these 13 diagrams as well as speaking with members of the Canton Police Department, were you able to then plot certain pieces of roadway evidence onto those diagrams that you that I just showed you a few moments ago?
Yes, I was.
Now, with reference to, you're familiar also through your training and experience when it comes to pedestrian crashes, as far as sort of the physics or kinematics of how pedestrians interact with vehicles in the course of a collision?
Yes, I am.
Now, I'm going to ask you just a couple of terminology questions when it comes to items that are involved in a collision, sort of simple Newtonian physics, Newton's first law. Can you explain what that is to the jury and sort of how that pertains to any collision between two objects?
The first law?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the when an object stays in motion or stays at rest, will stay at motion or rest until acted upon by an outside force.
Trooper Paul.
Now, with
You
respect
don't even know basic
to,
physics.
are you familiar also with a crash reconstruction term called final rest?
Yes, I am.
And are there different derivations of final rest as far as controlled final rest versus uncontrolled final rest?
Correct.
And can you explain just first to the jury what final rest means in relation to crash reconstruction, and then what, if any, differences there are between a controlled final rest and an uncontrolled final rest?
Yes, the final rest is what we use to describe the area where a pedestrian came to stop after the collision. It's immediately after the collision. This is where they first stopped. Or a vehicle, usually after the collision, is where this vehicle first stopped. And a controlled final rest is when an operator actually controls the vehicle to the stop, and as opposed to the uncontrolled final rest is when there is no control, usually acted upon by outside forces that will control the vehicle or pedestrian to its final rest.
And, Your Honor, with court's permission, if I could publish what's now been marked as exhibits 584 to 587 for the jury.
Yes.
Ms. Gilman, if I could ask you to zoom in just a little bit on that. And now, Trooper, what you have up on the screen, is that what you have before you as first in that exhibit?
Yes, it is.
Now, using the latest for you, if you could, I would ask you to draw the jury's attention or direction to what, if anything, of significance you have noted within this diagram.
Okay. Let me use the pointer. Okay. So in this time, I labeled each part of evidence. So right here would be the pedestrian's final rest, and they're all, since there's so many put together, everything was labeled with a red arrow that would be pointing to where the final rest is. And this is where a glass cup was found, and these are the red and clear plastic pieces. That's where they were found, and the pedestrian shoe was found here. The smaller versions here in the light blue is one's a fire hydrant, flagpole. This is a label for the street 34, and also the street name Fairview Road here.
Now, as far as measurements were concerned, what, if anything, were you able to do to measure sort of between different points of roadway evidence, or specifically from the pedestrian or Mr. O'Keefe's final rest in reference to other items that you have depicted on the diagram? So,
on these diagrams, like it's hard to see here, but It is a scale diagram. The diagram itself is scale. Once you put a roll up to the actual paper, it's scale. I've also have on here, it's hard to see, but I think it's right here.
I mean,
They're called ground control points. The little exits on the roadway. They are used for the drones imaging, and using the drone imaging will use those in order to help put all the pictures back together. At the time of this, I measured between each point from ground control point 1 to 2 and put it as approximately 50 feet. And 2 to 3 is 50 feet and 3 to 4 is 50 feet. So it kind of is the second way to measure off the diagram, and also using the program to measure to different points while using the diagram.
And as far as starting with the shoe that you have depicted in this diagram, what was the measurement of the shoe away from Mr. O'Keefe's body?
I believe the shoe was approximately, I haven't like thing, it's approximately 10 feet away.
Your Honor, with court's permission, may the trooper refer to his report just for the specific measurements?
Yes.
Okay.
And sorry, trooper, with regard to the shoe, how far away approximately was that from Mr. O'Keefe's body?
9 feet.
And did you also have a measurement for how far away the glass cup pieces were from Mr. O'Keefe's body?
Yeah, 1 foot.
And for the red plastic, you have labeled on this diagram as A. How far away from Mr. O'Keefe's body was that?
7 feet.
Now, with regard to the directionality, you also measured sort of directionality as far as the 9 feet that the shoe was away. Which direction was it?
Each evidence was measured from the pedestrian's final rest. So the shoe was 9 feet southeast from the pedestrian's final rest.
And if you could, using the laser pointer on the screen, as far as the directionality of the support, if you could first direct the jury's attention to where Mr. O'Keefe's final rest is, and then as far as the directionality southeast from that rest.
Okay, so right here, pedestrian's final rest, it's more right there. The shoe is right here, so it would be kind of southeast. I have an arrow pointing north to kind of give an extra.
And the glass cup that was 1 foot away, in which direction was that?
It was about 1 foot north. I think it was found like right next to him. So.
And the red plastic that you have labeled as A, again, that was 7 feet. In which direction was that, sir?
That one was east, so it's right here.
As far as the clear plastic, what was the measurement and what was the directionality for that item, sir?
10 feet southeast, so we're about over here.
And the red plastic that you have labeled on the diagram is B. How far was that, and what directionality was that?
That was 12 feet southeast, and that's found right here.
Okay. Sir, if I could direct your attention to the next exhibit before your diagram number 2, if I could have that, please. Sir, do you recognize what's depicted up on the screen?
Yes, I do.
Yeah,
And this
definitely
is
not
really
an
the
expert.
point
Hey,
where I think
Angie.
the significance to observe in this particular diagram,
Thanks for coming.
in reference to the roadway evidence.
It's just
Yeah, he
essentially
really
the same
did,
diagram.
but-
It's just
Is the little empathy that I had for the embarrassment he got kind of goes out the window just because he's, he didn't have the nerve at all to step up and say anything. He gets up there and testifies like a fucking moron, but in still trying to put Karen Reed in prison. So screw him. You did, Angie? Okay, I'll check it right now, honey.
closer up version of it. So he has, yeah. So you saw the pedestrian's final rest, glass cup, glass plastic pieces, the shoe. It's all still depicted in the diagram.
And the red arrows that you had indicated, delineated, or depicted sort of from where the words are to where the items were, is that present in this diagram as well?
Correct.
If I could direct your attention to the next exhibit before you, and if I could have diagram 3 to go. And again, Trooper, do you recognize what's up on the screen?
I do.
And if you could just describe to the jury what are we looking at in this diagram?
Yeah, so this is just a closer up to the evidence. It's a little smaller scale.
And these diagrams are created from photographs that you took with the drone overhead on that day, February 1st. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And if I could direct your attention to the last exhibit within those. And again, sir, if you could, you recognize what's up on the screen?
I do.
And could you describe to the jury again using the laser pointer to delineate what, if anything, is significant to observe in this drone photograph and diagram analysis?
Yeah, so this is from my report. It's the same diagram. Has the same amount of evidence on here. There's a house. There's a light pole here. These lines here, which I mentioned earlier, were the edge of the road and the edge of the sidewalk.
Now, with respect to the evidence, specifically pieces of taillight that are depicted within this diagram, could you put every single piece of taillight that was recovered on January 29th within this diagram?
No, I do not.
Fair to say you did also not put every piece of taillight that you're aware was recovered over the course of this investigation and depicted in this particular diagram?
That's correct.
Now, with respect to this particular area of Fairview Road, understanding that you were there in the daytime, correct?
Yes.
However, when you were there in the daytime, what, if any, note did you take as to sort of overhead lighting or available sort of ambient street lighting in the area?
You take it where, with my
Yeah, so
opinion
on the
about
top
Trooper Paul,
corner,
I'm
try to-
assuming, yeah.
Right up here, there's a light pole right there, overhead light pole.
And with relation to where you've marked as far as the final rest position of Mr. O'Keefe and the other areas of items of evidence that were recovered from the scene, was there any lighting in that particular area?
There wasn't.
Now, turning your attention, sir, back to February 1st, 2022. At some point, you were at the Canton Police Department, correct?
Yes.
And where specifically within the Canton Police Department did you go?
To the back in the garage area.
And within the garage area, what if anything did you do in the garage area?
In the garage area is where we imaged the airbag control module.
And so, I'm sorry, is it fair to say the vehicle, the defendant's vehicle, was located in that garage area?
That is correct.
And you imaged that vehicle, and what, if anything else, did you do with respect to that vehicle that day?
At that point, we just analyzed the damage to the vehicle.
Now, at some point, did you perform any sort of mechanical inspection of the vehicle?
Yes.
Was that day or at some later?
It was that day.
And was that within the garage area itself, or where did you perform the mechanical inspection of the vehicle?
We analyzed a little bit of the steering and the brake pedals while it was sitting in the garage. Then we did testing with it on the in the driveway next to Canton PD.
Now, sir, starting with a visual inspection of the vehicle. You want to approach?
Yes.
I'm showing you some photographs. Ask you to just review those. Look up when you finish. Do you recognize those?
I do.
And what do you recognize those to be?
They are crime scene photos that I've attached to my report.
You're on the Commonwealth to seek to introduce and admit as the next two exhibits.
Objection, Your Honor. Thank you.
Yep. Sorry.
And Trooper Paul, do you recognize what's up on the screen right now?
Yes, I do.
And what do you recognize that?
That's one of the crime scene photos that I attached to my report.
And what's contained in this is that a fair and accurate portrayal of sort of the front of this vehicle, looking at it from the passenger side.
Yes.
And Trooper, do you recognize what's up on the screen now?
Yes, I do.
What do you recognize that?
That's a crime scene photo that I attached to my report with notations that I made on it.
And what's contained in this photograph is that a fair and accurate portrayal of what you observed in the rear passenger side area of the defendant's vehicle in the garage on February 1st.
Yes, it is.
Now, with regards to what you've noted within this, if you could, using the laser pointer before you, just direct the jury's attention to what, if anything, of significance you observed in your inspection of this area of the Lexus.
Okay. So on the left side here, I put down the scratches, and there's a dent there. The broken tail light here was here. There's some scratches on the bottom right rear bumper here. And there was glass from a cutback on the bumper.
As far as the glass on the bumper, what, if any, observations did you make of that in relation to the vehicle itself?
Yeah, it appeared to be from a cup as opposed to any glass that came from the vehicle.
Objection. So I'll strike the first part of the answer, but the second part will stand.
I have no objection to the second part. Thank you.
Now, with regard to the dent that you've delineated within this photograph, did you take any measurements from the ground as to where that was located?
Yes, I did.
And how far did you measure the dent to be approximately from the ground?
Approximately 48 to 50 inches from the ground.
And what, if any, measurements did you take as far as from one part of the vehicle to the other, as far as where the dents were located?
Yeah, so it was approximately 19 inches from the right side of the vehicle.
Now, the scratches that you were talking about before, where were they in relation to the dent?
Right above the dent. I can see right there. With my hand shaky.
Now, as far as you obviously also made observations of the driver's side tail light as well.
Yes.
And so, from what you observed with the driver's side tail light versus the passenger side tail light, what, if any, observations did you make as far as the color of the pieces that you found missing from the passenger side tail light?
As compared to the left side of the tail light?
Yes.
So on the left side of the tail light, there was red and clear plastic pieces.
Now,
Yeah,
the scratch
and Vero
marks,
said
along the
it
pump,
was
did you take
flat,
any measurements with relation
not
to that?
entirely
Yes.
missing like
And
that.
specifically, did you take measurements from the ground to where they were located?
Yes.
What did you measure those?
They were approximately 27 to 28 inches from the ground.
Now, Trooper Paul, we can talk about a mechanical inspection of a vehicle just first in general terms. What is it that you're doing with respect to the vehicle in order to conduct that mechanical inspection?
So when we do mechanical inspections, we are obviously checking the steering, make sure the steering moves properly, the brake pedals, make sure they are firm, make sure the accelerator pedal moves back and forth. Just a generally looking at the tires, make sure there's no issues with the vehicle.
And what, if any, observations did you make of the vehicle itself as far as any defects or anything to do with the braking, the tires, or any of the other areas that you inspect?
We didn't observe any mechanical defects with the vehicle.
Now, with relation to the weight of the vehicle, what, if any, analysis, what, if anything, did you determine as to the weight of the Lexus?
The way the Lexus item was an analysis was just based on I think I have the gross vehicle weighting for the vehicle.
And how much did the vehicle weigh according to the gross weight?
I think it was approximately 7,000 pounds.
Now,
Yeah, and
with
apparently
respect to the lights of the vehicle, the tail lights and the headlights, what, if anything, did you determine those to be as far as what type of lights were they?
Right
They
there.
were LED. Both they were headlights and taillights were both
Most people
LED.
don't realize that that's
And
common
if you
sense.
could just expound a little as far as LED lights, what
These guys don't know
if any
what
significance does
common
that have
sense
to you, or
is.
what kind of lights are LED? How bright are LED lights?
LED well, most comparison to what most people think in car and tail lights, where they have the bulbs, where they have the filaments. LED is more electronically controlled. They sense, there's a sensor.
Yeah,
that
exactly,
will
James. That's
light
how
up,
I.
as opposed to a bulb,
That's how I
type.
feel.
headlight, and tail lights.
Like I said, the
Now, are you
the
familiar
small
with
amount
an
of
organization
empathy
called
I
NHTSA?
felt for
Yes.
him embarrassing
What's
himself
the
this
stand
bad.
That's the National
was
Highway
out the
Traffic Safety
window.
Administration.
What do you think about?
And what, if anything, did you
What
do
he's
with regard to
doing.
NHTSA in respect to this vehicle itself?
We ran the vehicle through NHTSA to see if
Hey,
there's any
Sarah.
recalls on the vehicle.
And
Is
what, if
there
any,
something
recalls did you discover when you ran this particular
We're
vehicle?
glad to have you. guys
There were no
all here.
recalls.
And to be specific, we're talking about this specific vehicle as opposed to just Lexuses in general, make and model, correct?
Correct. Yeah, we put the VIN into the system, and it will tell you if this vehicle has any recalls to it.
Now, you indicated on February 1st at some point you did some testing with the vehicle, is that correct?
Correct.
And where was that testing done, and what did it consist of?
It was done in the parking lot of Canton PD on the same day. We did a forward braking test, a reverse braking test, and a reverse acceleration test.
Now, the parking lot of the Canton Police Station where you did this.
Oh,
what
you
kind of,
guys, I
roadway
gotta
surface
show you
was
my
that?
wrap.
It's an asphalt
real
surface.
quick. I'm gonna hold
Similar to
on.
the asphalt surface at 34 Fairview Road, is that correct?
Put it
Correct.
in my
What was the
community
condition of
post.
the roadway as
I'll
far as
show
how
you
dry
guys.
or wet
So
was the roadway
good.
when you conducted these acceleration and braking?
Boy, it's
It was wet at the time.
And with respect to your understanding of January 29th, 2022, with the asphalt surface in front of 34 Fairview Road, what was the condition weather-wise as far as that roadway surface at the time of this collision?
At the time of the collision?
Yes.
What I'm saying is it was snowy, so the asphalt road had been fairly wet from snow.
Now, when you conducted these acceleration and braking tests with the defendant's vehicle, what, if anything, what, if any, tool or what, if any, implement did you use in the course of that testing?
We use a device called it's called a V-Box. This one's a V-Box Sport. The device is attached to the windshield, and it's also attached by an antenna that goes to the roof. And then basically V-Box, can we explain what V-Box is?
Please.
Okay. So a V-Box is it measures performance for the vehicle. It uses GPS data to measure the speeds and its location. We use that it'll give us how fast we were stopping, a drag factor for the roadway for that specific vehicle and type of road, and acceleration factors. So we attach that to the windshield, just kind of give me a way to check its acceleration, check its performance.
And so the V-Box is attached to that vehicle, so what specifically is it measuring?
So yeah, it's using the GPS data to apply its location, and so it's measuring its speeds and using the speed and the location, putting that together. And once you use the app through the V-Box, and it'll set certain parameters as like you can go out 30 miles per hour, 20 miles per hour, 10 miles per hour, and it'll set your vehicle. So when you go to 30 miles per hour, it'll tell you what you're doing at 30, what you're doing at 20, what you're doing at 10, and then it'll know if you're doing braking or acceleration tests. And it'll use those numbers that you have to give you, your acceleration factor or braking factor for the vehicle.
And so from the V-Box Sports device that you use, and you've received training as it applies to using that device?
Yes, I have.
And certification as well?
It's usually just training on it.
Now, with respect to the V-Box Sport as it's attached to that vehicle, that's measuring specifically from that vehicle with those tires on that roadway surface that day, correct?
That's correct.
Now, with regard to that testing on that day, you did some acceleration or reverse acceleration tests, is that correct?
Correct.
And how many of those tests did you conduct?
2.
And you describe to the jury sort of how you conducted those tests or what speeds you were using or sort of that process of the two.
Don't
reverse
worry,
acceleration
Jeannie
tests.
Lynn. I do that stuff typing
So
on
reverse
anything.
acceleration test we conducted, we set the parameters up to
And auto
25 miles per hour.
So
what we did is we
single day.
try to come from a stop at 0 and then press the accelerators all the way about as hard as I could press it and try to go back and see how fast I can get to 25 miles per hour.
Yeah, exactly.
And see what the performance it did at that time.
I mean, dude,
And
he
what if any
can't
kind of,
even get
data
his
did
words
you,
out. He's so
see
freaking
that,
nervous. Could you
with the
imagine
VBOS
trying to
using,
brainwash
during
him or
those two,
convince him of something?
reverse acceleration
I mean, all you have to do is tell
It
him
gave me an acceleration factor.
Okay,
It gave me its speeds
okay.
and times and distances that it was at each location.
I can see him
And if
cowering
you
in
could
the
explain to the
corner.
jury, so when you say acceleration factor, what
There's
is
someone just raising their voice, and he'd be like,
It's just
"Don't hit me! Don't hit me! Don't
a
hit
number
me!"
of how fast the vehicle
What
could
you talking
travel
about? I'm
from
gonna hit you. What are you talking about?
from an acceleration. It could be a light acceleration to a medium acceleration, a hard acceleration. They all have a different number that you can use to kind of relate it back to what the acceleration is for that vehicle.
And what was the acceleration factor that you were able to obtain with those two reverse acceleration tests?
I believe this was had 0.317, I believe.
Now, during the course of those the reverse acceleration tests that you conducted on that day, what, if anything, did you know? Well, let me ask you this: as far as the operation of the vehicle, who was actually physically operating the vehicle?
I was actually operating the vehicle.
And what, if anything, did you note during your operation of that vehicle during the reverse acceleration test that you conducted?
We also noted the accelerator pedal moved freely. There was no binding. There was no interference from anything on the floor. Nothing interfered with the accelerator pedal. It worked as it's supposed to.
And when you're doing this reverse acceleration test, how are you, if at all, are you manipulating the steering wheel at all, or is it a straight line test, or how is the test? How is the vehicle directed during the test?
So I try to keep it fairly straight.
And when you accelerated in reverse.
So, for any of you who wanted to see my rat suit, if you haven't yet, I have to share it because my storage is half full. Thank you very much. Well, I can't afford to upgrade it right now, so I'm just gonna have to deal with it. Tell me this is not the most adorable. Why did it only save half of it? What the hell? Hold on. Like, half of it's missing. They're all like that. What the hell? Oh, well, you know what? I'd have a better way to show you. Bear with me then. My Dropbox. I still got to learn how to work a Dropbox. I have to appreciate it for what I can use it for already, which is documents from the twit-twat. Makes it so easy. There we go. Oh. Why are they out of order? Oh my God. How many times did I post that same post? How stupid. Okay. This one needs to be deleted. There we go. Anyway, there it is. It's even got my tattoo and everything. Yes, Denise Pelton is the celebrity mod from Samantha Beningo. She is like the wizard mod over there, being the only mod. She's awesome. Yes, that is my rat suit from Toy. Toy, if you guys, I think the only one here not familiar with Toy might be Denise. Toy at Toy74. If someone can share the link in the chat that has a wrench, she makes the most amazing music videos and music. And she designs all the rat suits for Rat House Media. And I have finally gotten mine, and I am in awe. She's gorgeous. And she even updated it, said if I wanted any tweaks, I just said, can you add my tattoo? Of course, I have more than one tattoo, but my Pisces tattoo is on my wrist, and she even added that for me. I mean, and everybody knows I love purple. If you come to my page, you can tell that purple is my color, okay? Ironically enough, considering that my name is Miss Scarlet, I guess it should be red, but No, red's not good for me. I am very, very pale. I look bad in red and orange. Any sort of red and orange bad. Yes, we all love Samantha. You love it? Thank you. She is adorable, isn't she? Toy is amazing. I mean, the graphics and I don't know how she does it. I can tell you from my own experience already dealing with Canva and CapCut and all these video things that you can use AI and create your own and whatever. I don't know how she does it, especially like how quickly she does some of these, and BLT, especially with the photos he creates. Like, I get lucky with ChatGPT and our pictures of the day. Denise, if you're not familiar, we do as we watch the Karen Reed first trial. I constantly preach that we need to find levity even when it's a serious matter. We have been making pictures of the day of each, not each, but of several of the witnesses on the stand. We have made quite a few. One of my absolute favorites is Grumpy Cat Brian Albert. I'm not going to go through them all, but I'll bring up a couple just because they're hilarious. Give us a couple laughs today. All right, where's my Grumpy Cat? Where's my Grumpy Cat? Aha. Here's Grumpy Cat Brian Albert. Thank you, Angie. Yes, please, if you don't or haven't subscribed to Toy, please do. Watch her videos. They're freaking amazing. You will love it. You're Pisces too, Denise? That's right. I did know that. My birthday was March 7th. We had a great birthday stream. You guys were amazing to hang out with me that day. My birthday stream was technically on the 8th because I did have a friend come into town and take me out for my birthday. We had a great day hanging out. I had so much fun that weekend. You guys were awesome. Yes, Grumpy Cat is the best. That's Grumpy Cat Ryan Albert. And then we have hold on, let's see. What other really good ones did we have? Oh, the one that makes me laugh all the time for some reason, even though it's really not like anything, was Julie, or not Julie. Why do I always mess up their names? Hold on. Someone said she looked like a goat, said you need to feed her some grass, and this is what we got. If I can get it to load. Hold on. Hold, please. Like old Albert. Thanks, Denise. And happy birthday to you. I don't know when it was. I think I got to say happy birthday in Samantha's stream when it was your birthday. Because wasn't it just recently, just a couple of days ago, right? It looks like, yeah, it does, doesn't it? Well, I literally put his picture into ChatGPT and I said, make him into a grumpy cat. That's literally, or with steam coming out of his ears. That's literally all I told ChatGPT. And that's what I got. It was amazing. Like, I get really lucky with ChatGPT. I can only make, because I'm on the free plan, of course, and I can only make 3 images a day. So I get really lucky. Like, ChatGPT likes me sometimes. February 23rd. Okay, gotcha. I knew it was recent, but some days, especially everything I've been going through this month, I'll be honest, you haven't been here for all my rants, but you know about the power outage and all that shit. I mean, I've been through so much crap this month. I can't, yesterday feels like February 23rd. Like, I can't even believe it's already past mid-March. So it's just flying by. But anyway, happy belated birthday, Denise. But we got one. Let me play or play. Oh my God, show one more if you bear with me. Where the heck is my? Oh, there's me. If you guys want, I did show this the other day. There's me in my glasses. That was several years ago. And then there's me. That's a really bad like quality picture, but that was a little more recent than the black and white one. I've gained a little bit of weight since these pictures, but that's about it because I've had a bunch of surgeries. So anyway, here's googly eyes. Oh, do you guys not see this? I just realized you're not seeing it, are you? Oh yeah, you are. Okay, good. So we got googly eyes. Me. Where is our grumpy cat? Grass feed. Oh, and then we got, of course, I don't even remember that guy's name. Who was that again? We got the beaver turtle head dude. And that's a beaver. And that's a turtle. And we got Angry Bird coming up somewhere. Oh my God, I totally forgot about that one. Chloe, someone asked for Jen's face with Chloe's mouth. Oh boy. We got pretty petty, didn't we, with these? I don't know where's the other good one we had? Hold on. The Angry Bird head. One moment, please. Yeah, see, I thought it was next to googly eyes, but for some reason it didn't show up. But here we go. Hold on. Let me share it. There you go. Oh, Jeannie Lynn, thank you. You're so sweet. It is. Wait, it is. Thank you. Email me so I can send you money. I can email you, but you don't have to send me money. I mean, trust me, I'm in a situation right now that I'm not going to turn it down, but everybody has been so nice and so supportive of me. They've got me groceries. I'm getting a ride to the doctor. I mean, what could a girl ask for? What more could a girl ask for? I'm telling you. All right, Denise, I'm emailing you. Bear with me. Do I have your email, Denise? Did we email each other already? I forget. What's your email? Oh, honey, my PayPal is in my bio. The link is in my bio. Mary Lynn's not here because she had some stuff to do today. She normally does all the posting of my links. But my link, let me see if I can post it in the chat real quick. Hold on. Because I just got to sign into my phone to post something because I can't post links from StreamYard. It won't come up as a link. It'll just come up as text. Well, hold on. Oh, there we go. Links, copy. Oh, no, that's not what I want. I want to copy the link, stupid. There we go. No, copy, not go to it, stupid. How do you copy a freaking link? Like, it's so retarded. How do these I've never had to copy and post a link before. I'm so dumb. Wow. Hold on, let me try this. Edit channel. Edit. No, nope. Not that way. Wow, am I stupid? I feel so dumb right now. I feel like such a boomer. Oh no! Oh my God, Denise, this is the number one thing you're not allowed to do on my show, but you didn't know. You're never ever apologize for interrupting me, my show, because this is how I want my show to be. I love you guys. I love you guys just chilling and chatting and having a good old time. And if we change subjects, we change subjects for a while. I love it. So you're not the first person to apologize interrupting, but I don't want anyone to ever apologize. This is what I like. You guys want to know something? I'm glad to stop whatever we're doing and talk about it. So let me try typing it in. I'm going to try typing it in, Denise. Bear with me. Let me see. So www.paypal.com/and7. Did that come through as a link? I don't think so. See, I cannot. I don't. What? Why can? Okay, let me tell you something. How weird is it that I can give mods a wrench who can post links, but I can't post links in my own chat? So stupid. That's our job. I mean, seriously though, like, why can't I post links in my own freaking chat? Isn't it like the dumbest thing you ever heard? I mean, if your mods can post links for you and you can't, like, that's just weird. You're welcome, Denise. Thank you. Whatever you send is going to go for, right now, it's going to go for groceries and things for me to survive. And then anything past that is going to go, of course, as I've stated, any help to support the channel pays for my YouTube premium, my Canva premium, my CapCut, which I haven't paid for yet because I can't afford it yet. And what else do I got going on? All the premiums that it takes to run a channel. Let's put it that way. And it's not cheap. Oh, and of course, StreamYard, which I do have to upgrade. I've already like totally went over my my memory. I was running on the free StreamYard and realized that I couldn't stream anymore on the free. I had already hit my limit of free streaming hours, and you guys, my chat got me through so we could stream as much as I wanted to. But now I have to upgrade because hence, if for some reason my channel went bye-bye and I lost shit, it wouldn't be saved because StreamYard gives you 50 hours of memory with the small plan that I decided to purchase. So now I got to upgrade that. Like, it's insane how much it costs just to run a channel. You're good, Jeannie. Don't worry about it. Maylin, yeah, she knows. She, like I said, she had a couple errands to run. She told me she wouldn't be here on time. She may not make it before I have to end stream today. But that's okay. I told her, don't worry. You know, things happen. I can't expect her to be. I literally stream every day right now because we're doing this trial. And, you know, I can't expect someone to be here every single day. Like, it's cool. Oh, look at that. Ask, seek, and ye shall find. I mean, Maylin, woo! I can't post my own PayPal link in the chat. Isn't that stupid? Sounds like Maylin had errands to do, so I can't. I'm trying to put my own link in the chat, and I can't do it, even from my phone. It's so dumb. Here she is. Yep. I love you guys. And Denise, if you're still here, oh, there you are right there. Thanks, Maylin. Yeah, she's got all the links. There's my PayPal link. You're wonderful people. I love you. I love you all. Stop speak of the devil and she shall appear. Maylin, you're too sweet to be anywhere near the devil, okay? You may have like a dirty sense of humor mind like I do, but that doesn't mean we aren't sweet and nice. Yes, Maylin's a computer guru. I'm really good at picking things up and learning on my own, but there are certain things, no matter how hard I try, I can't figure it out. And certain things like this don't make sense. Like, how is it that I can give someone a wrench to help me with my channel, but yet I can't even post a link in my own freaking chat? That just doesn't make sense. We all do. Let's not kid ourselves. I mean, and like I always say, I am a visual learner, so I am a habitual Googler. Like, if I can see someone else do it and say a YouTube video, I can normally do it again, like no problem. But there are certain things that you can't find a video of or can't find a decent explanation of, and I just am like, what? Hey, Scott. Oh, I hope it went good. Scott had a doctor's appointment today, too. Mine is at 3:20. Moni Sunshine is taking me to my doctor's, everyone, thankfully. So right now, any donations are going to be going for groceries. So I appreciate you all. But Moni's picking me up around 2:20. And so we can get to the doctors and aren't squeezed for time. So I was just going to stream Trooper Paul until, while I got ready and until she got here. So that's the plan for today, everyone. You just sent it, Denise? Okay, hold on. I have too many tabs open on my phone. Hold on, let me. Bear with me. I haven't received it yet, but that's not surprising. Unfortunately, things like that take a little time now and then. You got it, Jeannie Lynn. Woohoo! All right, so I will keep an eye. Denise, I will let you know as soon as I get it. Let's get back into Trooper Paul for a few and see how far we get.
In a fairly straight
And
fashion.
we didn't get very far. I always have something to say. But I'm gonna be honest. As I get ready, I'm probably gonna talk over Trooper Paul and not pause because I need to get ready for my appointment. But it's gonna be hard for me to stay quiet, probably listening to him because he's so easy to make fun of. So I apologize in advance.
What, if anything, did you note about that?
They kept the vehicle fairly straight. It was fairly easy to keep control of.
Now, in addition to the 2 reverse acceleration tests, what, if any, testing did you do with regard to reverse braking?
Yeah, so we conducted 2 reverse braking tests.
And again, similar, can you describe to the jury, this is also with the VBox board attached, is that correct?
Correct.
So you're obtaining data from that as well?
Yes.
And during the course of the reverse braking test, what, if anything, first as far as data is concerned, how fast were these tests being conducted? What, if anything, was input, and what, if any, data did you receive from?
What about
Yeah, so the reverse braking one, we try to get up to about 30 miles per hour, and then once you get up to that speed, that's when we apply the brakes, try to brake the brakes fairly hard to try to get the vehicle to stop.
And are you also familiar with the term known as a deceleration factor?
Correct.
And can you explain to the jury what that is?
It's just essentially the opposite of an acceleration factor. This is a number for how fast the vehicle would slow down.
And with regard to the deceleration factor from the two reverse braking tests that you conducted on that date, what if any figure did you receive from the instrument from the e-box score?
For the reverse braking?
Yeah.
I believe this one was so it gets you a drag factor number for this vehicle too, and it's our deceleration factor, which is both are used the same way. This one was a point, I think it was 7.1.
Now, with regards, again, you're operating the vehicle during these two reverse braking tests, is that correct?
Yes, I was.
And what, if anything, did you note in regards to the operation of the vehicle when you were conducting these two reverse braking tests?
Yeah, the brake pedal was firm. There was no pulsation from the brake.
Now, in addition, sir, were you able to conduct some forward braking tests?
Yes, I was.
And similar again, if you could describe to the jury as far as how you were operating the vehicle during the forward braking test.
Yes, essentially the same thing as reverse. If I was going forward this time, I got up to 30 miles per hour, and I would just apply the brakes about as hard as I could apply them to the stops.
And again, are you receiving from the instruments some sort of
Thank you,
deceleration
Jeannie.
factor?
Yes, I was.
Did you recall what that was?
Yeah, it was a 0.69.
I appreciate you all
And
so
during the course
much.
of your operation of the vehicle during the forward braking test, again, what, if anything, did you note in regards to the operation of the defendant's vehicle?
Same as before. That brake pedal was firm. There was no pulsation. No issues.
Now, we talked a little bit about a ACM or an airbag control module, correct?
Correct.
You indicated earlier in your testimony that you had downloaded information from that. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, when you download that information, what, if anything, do you get from the vehicle, or what, if any, how are you able to sort of read or interpret that data?
So in the airbag control model, it's equipped with a about 8-band data recorder on EDR. And then that data from the EDR, we will use the Bosch CDR software, and we'll attach to the vehicle. And then that software will basically extract the information or image the information that's in the module. And so that information could range from getting us speeds, if there was braking, if there was steering wheel movements, basically like looking for change of velocity, that type of. So there's a lot of information around the vehicle.
May I approach you?
Yes.
Well, your documents are 7 pages in length. Just ask you to review that when you're finished.
Okay.
Do you recognize that document, sir?
I do.
What do you recognize that to be?
This is the document that gets printed out through from the airbag control model through the crash data retrieval software.
Thank you. May I approach again, Your Honor?
Yes.
I'm up to seek to introduce the minutes in that exhibit.
No objection.
Is it 590?
Now, sir, when it comes to the CDR printouts, or let me ask you this. When it comes to the airbag control module, who is that designed to protect or to apply to in respect to safety measures with vehicles?
Applies to the occupants inside the vehicle.
And this may sound a little terse when I say it, but essentially the airbag control module is typically not designed to protect people on the exterior or the outside of the vehicle, correct?
Correct.
Now, you've been involved in a number of crash investigations involving pedestrians, correct?
Yes.
Oh,
And
Denise,
as far as
I got
the
it.
case, what,
You're
if
a
any,
sweetheart. Thank you
useful or
so
significant
much,
information
honey.
were you able to interpret or retrieve from the ACM?
And this through the software, there was no
Gonna
data
get a
recovered or no bits
Coca-Cola.
recovered.
And
You're
when
gonna
it
have
comes
my
to pedestrian crashes
Coca-Cola
in
for
general,
today.
as far as there being no data in this case,
Woohoo!
is that something that's abnormal?
It is not.
Explain to the jury sort of why.
So what an airbag control module is doing, as it's running, it's constantly monitoring the vehicle. It's looking for like a sudden change of velocity,
You're amazing.
like a
guys.
collision.
Thank
So
you so
once it feels
much.
that sudden change of velocity, essentially we'll wake up and monitor the vehicle, see if there's people wearing the seatbelts on, what's the speed of the vehicle, number of different things that it could look for. And all it wants to do is either do I deploy the airbags or do I tighten the seatbelts? So most motor vehicle crashes with a car-on-car crash, there will be a higher change of velocity. So that's usually kind of what it's looking for. Pedestrian crashes are there's not going to be much change of velocity to the vehicle. That means when they both interact with each other, the pedestrian is not going to change that vehicle's velocity in such a quick manner as, say, two cars would strike each other.
Now, with respect to crash reconstruction in general, are you familiar with the term called delta V?
Yes.
And can you explain to the jury sort of what that term means as far as what is a delta V and what is it measured?
So that's kind of what I was saying about the change of velocity. It was a change of velocity. And I mean, like change of velocity, like it's also within a certain amount of time. So change amount of speed within a certain amount of time. So,
And with respect to the vehicle as it applies to crashes or collisions involving pedestrians. And I think you've said a little bit about this, but what, if any, impact on the velocity of the vehicle would striking a pedestrian typically have?
Very little.
Now, specifically when it applies
Very
to
little. Wait,
pedestrian
what was that
collisions in
question there?
general,
Hold
when
on.
it applies typically have?
Very little.
And I think vehicle as it applies to crashes.
A certain amount of time. So,
And with respect to vehicle as it applies to crashes or collisions involving pedestrians, and I think you've said a little bit about this, but what, if any, impact on the velocity of the vehicle would striking a pedestrian typically have?
very little.
Oh, okay. The velocity of the vehicle. Lally, if you ask questions that kind of made sense, things would be a lot easier to understand. But, these two together, I'm telling you, like I put in the freaking heading, like, what a combo, these two. You got one who doesn't know how to ask a fucking question that doesn't start with what if anything or what if any or anything. And then they got a witness who can't finish a sentence without fumbling his words 100 times. Oh my God.
Now, specifically when it applies to pedestrian collisions.
What dial the like button?
Are you
I
familiar with the
love it.
concept of linear momentum?
Yes.
And can you explain to the jury sort of what that is and how it applies with pedestrian crashes in general?
Linear momentum. Momentum is essentially when two objects interact with each other. They come in with momentum and they leave with momentum, with essentially the same momentum. And linear momentum just
What
means
was
something that's
that?
in line with each other.
Paul?
Now, as far as we talked a little bit earlier in your testimony about roadway evidence, when it comes to your experience with pedestrian collisions, what, if any, relationship does that linear momentum have in relation to roadway evidence that you would expect to find at a scene of a pedestrian collision?
So when a pedestrian strikes a vehicle, they will go in the direction where the vehicle was traveling. So if the vehicle is traveling one way, the pedestrian strikes, it will go essentially that same way, depending on what part that vehicle strikes.
Now, as far as other items that the pedestrian may either have in their hand or other items of looser fitting clothing, what, if any, experience do you have as far as observations of those on collision scenes involving pedestrian collisions?
Yeah, so it's not uncommon for pedestrians to lose essentially any sort of loose clothing. So shoes, belts, hats, anything that's
but
not very
common for
strapped
them to
on
get,
very well,
whacked by a car
leave the body.
and not have a
And as far as
single
directionality
bruise.
is concerned, when it applies to
I
that
don't
linear
think
momentum that you were
so.
speaking of before, those sort of loosely held or handheld items, or would glasses be included within that as well?
Correct.
So those types of items, as far as directionality is concerned, what, if anything, can you tell the jury about that?
Yeah, so they will go in the same direction the pedestrian travels post-impact. We usually use that as kind of a post-impact path of travel for the pedestrian, showing that this is the direction that they would have traveled from where they got struck.
Now, are you also familiar with the reconstruction terms known as area of impact and point of impact?
Correct.
And can you explain what those terms mean in a crash reconstruction context for the jury?
Yeah, so an area impact is essentially the area where the crash happens, where these two vehicles or vehicle pedestrians, where their initial impact happens. Point impact is the same thing. It's just more down to like that specific point at that specific area. Area can mean a little bit broader in that sense.
And what are some of is this something that is delineated somewhat, at least by roadway evidence?
Correct.
And if you could describe to the jury sort of what types of roadway evidence that would lead you or any crash reconstructionists to formulate an opinion as to the area of impact?
Yeah, so like I said earlier with the path of travel. So a lot of in collisions, most of our collisions, we start where the final rest goes, and we follow the debris or the clothing. We're back to where, follow that path back to where it came from. And we know within that area, that's where an area impact would be.
Now, with relation to the evidence that was depicted on the diagrams that were up on the screen before as the exhibits, what, if any, relationship would the taillight pieces and the shoe that were recovered from the street in front of
Maitland,
Fairview Road
we
have in
talked
relation
a
to
little
that
bit
area?
about this before, when you were still gone, or when we weren't. I can't talk now. Listening to him, I'm fumbling my words. I'm sorry. Oh my God. Maylin, before you got here, we talked about this. And I said, what little empathy I had for the embarrassment he is on the stand goes out the window, because no matter if he did or didn't know what he was saying right now, he knew what he was doing. He was putting a woman on trial who he should have at least known didn't do this. That guy was not hit by a car. You want to call him a guy? John O'Keefe, officer. John O'Keefe was not hit by a car. Just had to point that out. Yeah, you guys have it. I get it. I don't hold anything against you if you feel bad for him for that. I get it because I did too, a little bit. But as soon as it creeps in, it creeps right back out because he knows he is testifying against a woman who is not guilty, and he knows it. Yes, exactly. He's just got a wet noodle brain. He wouldn't know the difference. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I get it. He's totally manipulatable. Is that even a word? God, he's easily manipulated. Yes, 100%. But I also don't think he could have passed his exams that apparently are really hard to pass. He couldn't have at least passed those exams without understanding that when you get hit by a car, you got bruises. And this guy, Officer John O'Keefe, did not even have any bruises, broken bones. And I know he couldn't listen to other testimony, but I also find it very hard to believe that the cops weren't talking about this case a lot prior to trial. You can't tell me that this wasn't brought up and that he didn't realize that what he was doing. Like, it just, to me, I don't think that. I think he's embarrassed as all hell because I think, to be honest, I think that's why he's stumbling over his words, is because he knows what he's doing. Maybe he doesn't want to do it deep down, but is doing it anyway. And that's why it's so hard for him to get these words out. It is the word now. Yeah, manipulatable. It's the word now, everyone. If I say it again, we've already determined it is a word now. Yeah, he took basic classes. I mean, and he saw 55 pedestrian crashes, and I bet you 54 of them, because I'm assuming they're still including Officer John O'Keefe as a pedestrian crash, even though it wasn't. So 54 of them, I bet you every single one of those 54, the person had at least one bruise if they got hit by a car. Yeah. They all knew it. See, that's how I feel too, Denise. I think they all knew it, and I think they all talked about it, and whether they were forced into testifying or whatever their reasoning behind testifying this way and continuing this bullshit sham of a trial, it doesn't matter because they knew.
Yeah, so they were found alongside the roadway. So I know that they were found, the air impact had been somewhere within the roadway and probably somewhere at the beginning, just prior to the beginning of the first point of evidence that we found.
So somewhere towards the first point of evidence contained within that debris field, is that correct?
Correct.
Now, sir, are you also familiar with a safety system specifically applicable to licensed vehicles?
Yes.
And have you seen training in regard to downloading information in regard to that as well?
Yes.
And what is that safety system? What is that called?
It's called the Toyota TechStream software.
And so the Toyota TechStream is a software similar to the crash data retrieval or CDR software that you're talking about, but just specific to a Lexus.
Yeah, it's between Toyota and Lexus has software. The TechStream it's similar in the fact that they both record data to the vehicle. TechStream was created by Toyota for their technicians to diagnose vehicles and
You're good,
use that
Janine.
information to help,
Be
any
careful
kind of
on the road.
mechanical issues that they would have with the vehicle. That they can do when you bring your car to them, they can look at the TechStream and just kind of find out what caused the mechanical issue.
Now, with respect to the Toyota TechStream data that's available, what kind of data are we talking?
So TechStream, yeah, they also did diagnostic stuff. So they're looking for any engine defaults or anything else. But they also have what's called a vehicle control history in it.
Sorry, I missed that. Called what?
A vehicle control history.
Thank you.
And the vehicle control history it's basically monitoring people's driving behavior. So it has certain, they call it triggers that they have listed. And when those triggers are met, they will record data related to that trigger.
And what type of data, in general terms, what type of data are you able to recover through the Toyota TechStream tool from the vehicle control history?
Yeah, so each trigger, you can record it's the same as get your speeds, brakes, if the accelerator pedal's on, if the steering wheel angles, engine RPMs, all the information that you have related to vehicles.
Now, in addition, is it possible with vehicles that have some vehicles made that are accessible through this Toyota TechStream, including Lexus, which I should say, I'm sorry. So Lexus is manufactured by Toyota, correct?
That's correct.
So in some vehicles, Toyota or Lexus vehicles are made by that manufacturer are equipped with camera systems. Is that correct?
Correct.
And again, in general terms, what if anything in relation to the camera system is it possible to collect from the vehicle control?
The camera systems in certain vehicles can record photos, like little grainy black and white photos.
And were you able to recover any black and white photos or photos of any kind from the defendant's vehicle in this case?
It was not.
Now, with respect to the sort of physical process of the downloading using this Toyota TechStream tool, can you explain to the jury sort of how that's physically done or what you're doing to the vehicle in order to download that information?
It's the same process, just different software as we would for the airbag control module. As I said before, we plug into the DLC port, and then up that software program, and we follow the steps, and we extract the information from the vehicle.
Now, the extraction of the Toyota TechStream data in this particular case, when was that accomplished?
For this one, I believe it was February 2nd, 2023.
So a year and a day after you had conducted the braking and acceleration test and inspected the vehicle in the Canton Police Department garage.
That's correct.
And so as far as the timing of that being February 2nd of 2023, why was that?
I was at the time of my initial inspection, I didn't really know much about TechStream at that point. So over time, I kind of learned about TechStream. And so once I learned about it, and I thought, is this relevant to our case? And I looked more into it and found that it is relevant. So.
And the Toyota TechStream, as far as that applicability or that tool, is that a relatively newer tool in the area of crash reconstruction?
It is getting fairly newer, as it's getting spread out. It's getting bigger. It first got created on one vehicle in 2014. So it's been slowly trickling into the Toyotas and Lexus vehicles over time. But it's definitely gotten bigger within the past couple of years.
Now, with regard to this information, when you were then able to download that information, you received some data. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And you mentioned that it goes, or it's measured sort of by triggers. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And from the data that you were able to obtain from the defendant's vehicle, what type of data were you able to retrieve as it relates to the vehicle control history?
Yes. So this had like a page and a half full of triggers that over the vehicle's time span that it captured.
And with respect to the triggers, how many triggers did it capture?
It's like a page and a half. I don't know exact numbers of how many triggers that was on each page, but there was, it's at least a good page and a half full of triggers.
Your Honor, may the trooper refer to his notes in regard to that? The trooper, if I could direct you, I think it's page 9 of your report.
Okay.
And how many triggers was it, sir?
Can we count them?
Does he have to count them, Mr. Lally?
No, I don't think he has to count them. Sir, if I could direct you to paragraph 23.
Oh, yeah. So 22 separate triggers. Those are, so on my report, it says 22 separate triggers that occurred on odometer mileage 12665 to 12666.
And with regard to the mileage that you noted as far as being between miles 12665 and miles 12666, that's 12,665 to 12,666, correct?
Correct.
And what was the mileage that you observed on the vehicle at inspection?
12,665.
And at the time that you conducted this Toyota TechStream download from the vehicle, what was the mileage at that time?
12,666.
And there's also reference within the vehicle control history data in regard to something called a key cycle. Is that correct?
Correct.
And can you explain to the jury sort of what a key cycle is and what are the different things that could trigger a
Oh,
key cycle?
shit.
Key cycle is essentially, so it's from the ignition cycle. Let's take some. Sorry. So a key cycle is essentially from when the vehicle's off.
I'm sorry.
It's pressed on.
Key cycles
It doesn't
are
necessarily
already
need to be
confusing enough.
running or
And
turned
this
on.
guy
It just needs to be
trying
turned on
explain
and then
key
off again.
cycles?
And that'd be
Oh
one
my
key cycle.
God.
Now, with relation to your analysis in regard to the vehicle control history, what if any role did the key cycle numbers or what kind of role did that play in your
Right, you
analysis?
guys are coming with
It shows
me so I can put
it shows
my
me where
makeup on.
how far away they were from each other. The key cycles were.
And how far away in what terms?
So when I turned the vehicle on, when I did my testing, it showed me what key cycle was that I was on when I did those testings and then the odometer mileage in relationship to that.
Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
Sir, I'm showing you the documents. You guys get a look at that. Look up when you finish.
Okay.
And do you recognize that, sir?
I do.
And what do you recognize that to be?
That is the table from the vehicle control history from my report.
And Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
I'm up to seek to introduce in the minutes next exhibit.
No objection, Your Honor.
Okay. The 591.
Trooper Paul, what's up on the screen? Is that the exhibit that you have before you?
Yes, it is.
Now, if you could, using the laser pointer before you, just direct the jury's attention to what we're looking at in this exhibit and what type of information and where it's located within this exhibit.
Okay, so this is the vehicle control history. Every single point here, this is where the triggers are. This is the labels for each trigger. Odometer mileage is on this label here. You see elapsed time and key cycles. I have noted through arrows here, these were when the vehicle was with us, and a lot of this is related to my testing with the vehicle. And these right before that were the triggers that were prior to those testings.
Within this table, sir, there are two triggers reported at odometer mile 12,629.
Yes.
And what's the key cycle associated with 12,629?
1,162.
Now, these triggers that are contained as far as the 12,629, that's prior to the.
Okay, you have to either come close and speak up even louder, Mr. Malley.
I will speak louder.
There's no microphone near you. That's the problem for the court reporter.
My issue is, Your Honor, there's no light over here.
All right, so let's turn the light on and
Should have counted how many times
you can ask your question, then we'll turn the light right back on.
Auntie Bev had to tell Lally to speak up.
So that odometer mile, as far as two triggering events, at 12,629, correct?
Yes.
And that occurs prior to the 12,665, 12,666 during the course of your braking and acceleration test, correct?
Correct.
And the mileage difference between those two, did you do that math?
Yes.
What was the mileage difference between the two?
36.
And how many key cycles were different between your testing and that odometer reading of 12,629?
2 key cycles.
Now, as far as what if any information did you have and where did you get it in relation to the defendant's vehicle's path of travel prior to those odometer readings that you noted when you did your
Yeah. So yeah, I was told that where she traveled afterwards or prior to that. I was noted their locations, and I used those locations through Google to get a mileage for
What
them.
was that? What's that?
Yes.
Trooper Paul? I don't understand a word.
you another document, or do you recognize that?
I do.
And what do you recognize that to be?
Those are the Google directions. I put them in a table and put in my report.
And may I approach you?
Yes.
I'm going to introduce you to the next exhibit.
No objection.
Oh, Auntie Bev's getting cranky.
Did you?
Needs a white claw.
Someone, if you could, enlarge 2 minutes. Now, Trooper Paul, do you recognize what's up on the screen as the next exhibit before you?
Yes, I do.
And these are, again, if you could explain to the jury sort of what we're looking at here and how you came to these mileage goals.
Yes. So when I got the directions, it showed that we got from 34 Fairview Road to 1 Meadows Ave. And when I put that address onto Google, it gave me suggested routes. So I put each suggested route on there and the time it took. So I did that with every direction from One Meadows Ave to Waterfall
Every
to 12 Country
direction
Lane,
what?
and 12 Country Lane to One Meadows Ave,
Oh my
and then One
God.
Meadows Ave to 345 Country Hill Drive, North
This
Dayton.
is brutal.
So I did that for every single one and find suggested routes, so which is labeled in all these boxes here. And then at the bottom here, I did a total distance, and I did a min and the max distance of, the minimum was 36.1 and the max distance of 38.8.
All right, so I'm going to ask you to take that down for a minute, and I'll see counsel at sidebar, please.
Now, in addition to those distances there depicted in that exhibit, sir, have you also looked at a mileage or distance between, well, I'm sorry, the first up there was as far as 34 Fairview Road to One Meadows Avenue, is that correct?
That's correct.
And that gave you sort of 3 different routes of travel, is that correct?
Yes,
And the minute of the max was 2.2 to 2.6.
correct.
I think Auntie
Now, if
Bobby
you were
would
to add
realize that
that
his
as an additional sort of
explanation
travel
needed to be
to the 36.1 and
completely
38.8
broken down
calculated,
because
how much of a difference does that make?
Between the two
really
min
hard to
maxes,
understand.
only 2.7.
And as far as your analysis that we're about to discuss, adding in that approximate 2 points, whatever miles, how much of a difference does that make to your analysis and ultimate conclusions in regard to the VCH or vehicle control history data?
I was going later, but so the 36 is just within the realm that she could have traveled 36. The odometer mileage is the odometer mileage. So 36 is 36. That's what's on the vehicle. So within the realm of possibilities that the vehicle could have traveled 36 miles after the 2 triggers that are in this vehicle.
Now, with respect to that minimum and max, as far as the 36.1, 38.8, what, if any, relationship does that have to the difference in the odometer readings that you observed between when you conducted the braking test and when you observed these 2 triggering events that you were talking about at the earlier mileage?
I said no difference. The odometer mileage is 36.
And so I guess what I'm asking, sir, is the 36 miles, is that within the range of the 2 triggering events that you were just talking about?
Yes, it was.
Now, as far as within your report and your analysis, did you come up with sort of a label as far as these 2 different triggering events that you observed?
Yes, I did.
And that incorporated the mileage, is that correct?
Correct.
And that was, again, 12,629, is that correct?
Yes.
And then as far as any further label that you put on it, how did you label it?
I labeled them as in when they occurred. One's 12,629A and one other one's 12,629B.
And with respect to the A and B, which one occurred first?
The A occurred first.
May I approach, Ron?
Yes.
Approach, Ron, you have the document, ask you to review that. Finish.
Okay.
And do you recognize that?
I do. It's the data chart from the 12,629 miles A chart.
May I approach again, Your Honor?
Yes.
Almost to introduce the next exhibit.
No objection.
Everybody else, even though I've watched, I've
So we've
never
documented for
seen
you
this
what's now
entire
on the screen. You
testimony.
recognize that as what's
Seen the
now
bits
marked
and
as next
pieces.
exhibit.
I do.
And even though I have watched Samantha Beningo go over these key cycles like over
Describe to
and
the jury
over and
sort
over
of what
again,
these roads
I am
indicate as far as what
down
information is there, and
confused as what
using the laser
they're
pointer direct the
talking
jury's
about.
attention to what, if
because
anything,
he's
of
not
significance
making
you
any
observed in
sense.
this as far as 12,629 miles A.
Okay. So each row starting from the top is the vehicle control history time, which is the time that's recorded in the module itself or in the software that gets recorded as each time, and it's recorded as seconds. This time is the time from the start of the key cycle. So it starts off with 652.8, and each one is incremented in approximately half seconds increments up to, let me show it right here where the trigger, this is what's called where the trigger happened. So right here is where it kind of goes from 4.5 to 4.6, then it goes up to 5, then everything after that is about half second increments from each other. Recorded 10 seconds of time, which is labeled in this one, total time of 10 seconds. And I'll just put time from trigger, just kind of label it back to, here's the trigger right here. And that's the time between each one. Sorry if I can read this right. So and right here, this is the vehicle speeds. The blue is just labeled because that's the speed. Zeros are labeled as a light blue is 0. So if I could read this. So this starts from, shows that the vehicle is traveling at 9.9 miles per hour. It's slowing down to about 0 right here, and then stops for that time, and then increases back, speeds back up to, it goes up to 6.2, and then slows back down to 0, and then back up to 1.7 to, I think it's 8.7. If I can read that right. And next below for us is miles per hour to kilometers. This is the accelerator opening ratio, which is really where this trigger comes from, because the trigger is labeled as the accelerator pedal opening angle is medium to higher immediately after shifting to reverse, or they label it as R.
If I could stop you there just
Yep.
for a second, sir. As far as the accelerator pedal opening angle,
Correct.
can you explain to the jury sort of what that term means and how that relates to sort of the operation of the vehicle?
So the accelerator pedal is, the part where everybody puts the foot on and gets the vehicle to go. So the pedal So this is what's showing how far the pedal was
Really?
actually pressed by the operator of the
You
vehicle.
put your foot on the accelerator.
And that gives
to
you a
make
percentage
the-
of that. So
the
this
car
pedal,
go?
you know, zero's
Holy
not pressed and
shit.
100% is all the way down.
Revelation.
So they label the trigger, I think 30% is medium to higher in this way Toyota labels it. So and that's where you'll see the trigger is around 31.5%. And it also shows start from the beginning, goes from 0 and increases up to 50.5%. And that's 5 seconds. That's only, you know, a little over a second past the trigger. It's up to 50% and then back off and then back onto the accelerator again, up to 34%.
Now, as far as this data is concerned for the VCH data from the Toyota tech stream, what, if any, information are you able to glean as far as directionality, as far as forward, reverse, left, right, things like that from this data?
So on this label right here, so it shows the shift position signal. 1 is forward and 2 is reverse. So this right here is showing the vehicle was in drive and going forward, and then the vehicle got shifted into reverse, and then back to drive again.
Now, from your experience and from your training when it comes to interpreting this type of data, do you have any opinion as to sort of what type of maneuver or what type of actions the vehicle was taking during the course of this triggering event?
Yes, this appears the vehicle was slowing down and making a U-turn. Because also the other thing into it, it shows steering signal. And the steering wheel will show that she was driving left and then right and the back left again. And also when she's on the brake switch.
And Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
The document that I just handed you now, do you recognize that?
Yes,
And what do you recognize that to be?
it's the one, the 12,000, the data chart from my report was labeled as 12,629 miles B.
So that's the second triggering event within this same mileage reading on the odometer, same key cycle.
Correct.
Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
Come on, seek to introduce from this next exhibit.
No objection.
And Trooper Paul, you recognize what's up on the screen now?
I do.
This is the VCH data chart
Right,
from
please.
that same mileage or the second triggering event as far as.
I don't know if you just put that. I just saw it though.
Correct.
And again,
Yeah,
this
when
the
is she
same,
not cranky, right?
odometer
Right after
range
she
as
has
well
her
as the
white
same,
claw, she's good for about 30
key
minutes,
cycle.
and that's it.
as what was just up on the screen as far as 12,629 miles A, correct?
Yes,
This occurs after A, is that fair to say?
correct.
Now, similar to before, when it comes to this VCH data up on the screen, if you could, using the laser pointer, demonstrate to the jury what, if anything, of significance you note with respect to this data.
So for this one, same label as before, just that the vehicle control history time is, if I can see that, the trigger time is 1,142.2 seconds after key cycle. And this one shows all the same thing, 10 seconds of data. And let's go, so the vehicle speed on this one shows that she's slowing down. And it's 13.7 miles per hour and gets down to 0. Then she's down to 0 for a while, and then the vehicle speed increases up to 24.2 miles per hour at its max speed. Then it goes down to 23.6 as the last two labels. An accelerator pedal angle at this point at key trigger is 36.5 and increases up to 74.5%. And it stays around 74.5%, 74, 73.5, and 74.
Now, that's 74.5% as far as the pressure being applied to the accelerator pedal, correct?
Correct.
And with respect to that, 74.5, that's about 3/4 down, is that correct?
Yes.
Now, with regard to this data from 12,629 miles B, what, if anything, are you able to tell from this data as far as when that occurred in relation to 12,629A?
So they occurred
have the speed.
about approximately
And-
8 minutes. So 1269
Forgive me
A
if I
occurred
somehow
8 minutes prior to the other one, and they both occurred within the same on the same
Don't
odometer
we
mileage.
not even have
Now, with respect to the duration of the
times
data
that
that you were able to
cycles
obtain from this
happen,
one specifically,
we have to
12,629 miles B,
guess
what kind
basically
of duration of data are we looking at in this
as to
particular
when
table
these
chart?
key cycles happen?
Say that again.
How long a period of time does this depend?
So this is from the start of key cycle, or this whole this one.
Just this one.
Okay. So this is 10 seconds of data.
And with respect to that 10 seconds of data, as far as the 24.2 miles per hour, when does that occur within the 10 seconds of data for this particular event?
So 24.2, as I'll point out, is right here. It's actually around the 9-second mark.
Now, similar to the other charts for A that was up on the screen a moment before, is there an indication as far as the accelerator pedal opening angle?
Yes.
And what, if any, significance does that have, or what, if anything, does that indicate to you from this data on the screen?
It shows that the accelerator pedal angle went up to 74.5%. So as out of 100%, it went up to 74.5%.
And again, I
Now,
have
with
to
respect
say this
to
because,
directionality
hold on, I gotta
for
pause
this,
here
what if any data
because
is contained within this chart?
all of us who drive in snow know that if we get stuck, let's say, our tires get kind of stuck in the snow, what's the first thing we do? Even though it's not necessarily the smart thing to do, we press harder on the fucking gas pedal, thinking the more revolutions the tires get, the better our chances of getting out of a rut in the snow, right? And he constantly talks about, how much snow there was, right? Like, that's where my mind goes with this, even though we know, looking back, that there wasn't that much snow on the ground at that time. But when I hear this about how far or what percentage he pushed down the gas pedal, and my mind goes to, oh my God, there was so much snow. That's where my mind goes, is she's pushing down on the gas pedal that fast because it's fucking stuck in the snow. Am I the only one that thinks that? Maybe, I don't know, but that's where my mind goes with this.
In respect to that.
Yeah, so on the bottom row, it shows the steering signal. It just shows slowing down. 0 is like 0.5, 9, 13.5, 13.5. I think it's 13.5, 0, 4.5. And we're talking about steering wheel. How far does the steering wheel move from left to right? So that's the degrees of a steering wheel angle.
Now, as far as when the vehicle is shifted sort of from drive or neutral or park or whatever it was, at some point is there an indication in this data set on this table as far as when the vehicle was placed into reverse?
Yes.
And how far into this 10-second data set was the vehicle placed into reverse?
At 4 seconds, it's right here.
And so am I correct then that there is a 5-second difference between 4 seconds when it's placed in reverse and 9 seconds approximately when it achieves that 24.2 miles per hour?
Correct.
Now, as far as the 74.5% pressure that's placed on the accelerator pedal, when is that recorded in seconds in relation to the 10-second data set in this table?
74.5 starts at the 8 second.
Now, as far as this trigger is concerned, I understand from your testimony that the maximum speed is 24.2. Is that correct?
Correct.
And what is the vehicle speed recorded at the end of this 10-second data set?
23.6.
Now, as far as the vehicle being in sort of different sets, as far as drive, reverse, things of that nature, what, if anything, did you observe within this data set as far as how it is at the beginning, how it changes at all? What happens with regard to that in the data set?
So this one shows that the vehicle was in drive. It starts off in drive. It's slowing down to 0, and it goes to 0, which is neutral. Then goes down. Then it goes into reverse. So it's going straight. It stops. Then it's placed in reverse, and then goes back. Goes in reverse.
Now, as far as the reverse is concerned, you indicated there's also some steering angles that are recorded with this data.
Yes.
And what, if anything, was recorded in this 10 seconds of data? Specifically, I'm asking from the time that it goes to reverse to the end of the set, the end of the data set. What, if anything, do you observe with reference to the change in the steering angle of the steering wheel?
It does not change much. It's only 13. I think the far it goes is left is at 13.5%. So that's only, if the steering wheel's a circle, the whole circle is 360 degrees. So 13.5% is only, and it's still fairly straight in the vehicle at 13.5%.
So from this data, this vehicle is backing up in the manner of about 5 seconds or so, in a fairly straight line, and achieves a maximum speed of 24.2 miles per hour, correct?
Correct.
And even at the end of this data set, the vehicle is still traveling approximately 23.6 miles per hour.
Correct.
Now, as far as the small deviations in the steering that you were testifying about, based on your training and experience, what, if anything, would cause that?
Well, the steering wheel was obviously caused by operator traveling only a small amount, about right up to here. So
What?
it's only just operator steering at those small deviations.
You want a man approach?
Yes.
Well, at least Denise agrees with me. Thank you. I have no idea what the fuck he just said.
Recognize that?
Oh my
I do.
God.
What do you recognize
This
that
is
to be?
painful.
It's a more of a closer up snippet of that document that I have attached to my report.
And you want a man approach?
Yes.
Hard practice. Paul wants to introduce the next exhibit. No objection.
You can go ahead and publish it if you're inclined.
Trooper Paul, from what's depicted up on the screen as this next exhibit, if you could, using the laser pointer, just direct the jury's attention to what, if anything, of significance you observed in this portion of the base.
Yeah, so I circled in here the drop from 24.2 to 23.6, and also the thermal signal went from a left at 4.5 to a right 4.5, so positive to a negative. And also the same thing with the cellular opening ratio kind of stays consistent at 74%.
May I approach again, Your Honor?
Yes.
Borrow that document. And show you another document.
Okay.
Do you recognize that?
I did.
What do you recognize that to be?
It's a vehicle control history distance chart I calculated and attached to my report.
And may I approach again, Your Honor?
Yes.
Almost as if you use the next exhibit.
No, Judge.
Okay. So go ahead and publish it if you're inclined.
Paul, do you recognize what's up on the screen? It has now been marked as exhibit 596.
I do.
And again, if you could, using the laser pointer, let me ask you this first. As far as this table and this information up on the screen, I should have asked you this before. How was this table created, and what, if anything, does this illustrate?
Yeah, so this illustrates from the chart of 12,629B. I started from when the vehicle was placed into reverse, and when it immediately goes from 0 and travels up to 23.6. Just that's like the last part of that last chart we had.
And what, if anything, were you able to do as far as distance travel, and how were you able to determine that?
So I used the spherical speeds and the time, and calculated a distance that the vehicle traveled during this time.
And
All
as far as
right,
the
we are going
total
to
distance-
stop there. I just got a text from my Moni Sunshine, who is about 2 minutes away from my apartment, which is perfect timing. Denise says he was off on what was happening at which key cycle. That's what I thought. I'm going to be like, because there's not time stamps on these key cycles, right? They had to judge by the prior key cycles. Like, I'll be honest, I've tried to watch this. I have watched the information on key cycles several times, specifically Samantha Bedingo's. And when she has Aussie Insider on, that like they go over it really well. And I'm going to be totally honest. That's one thing I still don't understand truly is these key cycles. However, what I believe I understood was they aren't time stamped. They had to judge by what the prior key cycle recorded, blah, 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 to guess this is the proper one. But we can get more into key cycles tomorrow. Like I said, my ride is almost here. I got a doctor's appointment in an hour. I got to get socks and shoes on, but I appreciate you all. I love you so much. Thank you so much for being here. We will finish Trooper Paul tomorrow, his rest of his direct and cross. And then tonight, the virtual juror and I take on Bukaki. So join us tonight and hope to see you all there and tomorrow and in the chats. Thank you so much. Love you guys. Bye.